Bluprints are a company who work with brand and culture. Everybody knows that culture affects your brand in a huge way and that this affects your bottom line. And what Bluprints do is they engage all of your employees in defining that culture, measuring that culture and improving that culture. Your people make your business. How your people behave, how they interact with customers, how they interact with each other, how they interact with suppliers, actually builds your brand, builds your company, builds your bottom line. Companies that use Bluprints tend to be forward-thinking, they tend to be innovative, they understand that their people are vital. Now, many companies will say our people are our greatest asset. Very few actually believe that. The ones who do believe it are the ones that are likely to see the advantage in using Bluprints.
As Head of Business Transformation in Kia, I'm responsible for employee engagement, managing change and internal communications, which when you bring all of those things together really helps transform the business and put the business strategy into action. Within Kia, we work across the public and private sector and we build, we repair and we maintain.
They took Bluprint on because they had a challenge in one of their business units of bringing in lots and lots of different employees as they to-be transferred people into the business, and that fragmented the culture. So if you started to ask the people in the business what is Kia about, they didn't know.
Every time we brought in new contracts, we were bolting on existing subcultures and different behaviours from people, and we wanted to bring them into a Kia way of doing things, and therefore we could brand ourselves and we could give a consistent customer service.
So this was a way of getting the people in the business involved in building what Kia was about.
One of the biggest changes we've seen since using Bluprint is we've created a common language across our business that just didn't exist before.
We build a language that is the language of the employees. It's the language that they've brought out to say, these are the things that we need to do to achieve our goals.
It's a language that hasn't been imposed, it's been a language that's been created by our people.
When we put this in, we build this language and we support it with the icons which are pictorial. We crowdsource from people. What do they think we need to do more of in the business and what do they think we need to do less of in the business in order to achieve that end?
The initial survey gave us a fantastic benchmark, so we knew where we were against where we wanted to be. It gave us real tangible evidence of our communication, some of our areas of leadership, meetings that we were spending too long on, and we actually had evidence of where we were against our desired culture. So we got to the point where we'd got our formula. We'd got our icons above the line, the things we wanted to do more of. We wanted a can-do attitude, we wanted a great health and safety environment, customer excellence, and then there were the things that we wanted to make sure we did less of. The icon that came up as needing the biggest focus was the poor communication icon for us. So we were able to make a lot of improvements very quickly around communication. We've introduced a team of people who are responsible for supporting business with communications, and from that we've introduced Kia Television, which is a news programme. It was designed by our employees. They wanted to see a short business update about what was happening. They wanted to see themselves on the film, and so KTV, as we call it, has been extremely successful in communicating consistently across the business, bringing those fragmented organisations together, but allowing local ownership as well. That's just one of the things that we've implemented. Our employees really thrived from the fact that they could see changes taking place based upon what they'd given us feedback on, and it was many of our employees that got involved in the working groups and the action plans to make the changes happen. It's also given them a real great sense of ownership, because when we've had the feedback and the evidence of what needs changing, they've been able to get on and be creative and innovative in their own areas of work. I think it's really vital to get statistics, particularly around culture. We have finance, we have health and safety, we have customer performance, and the one thing that people really find it difficult to measure is culture. And the one thing that the Blueprint approach does is it gives you a measure of your culture, how you're performing and where you need to improve. And that's one of the things that we've added into our board reports. So along with all of the financial data and all of the other data that we produce on a regular basis, this is something that's added and adds value to the overall picture of the business. The advice for anybody who's considering this approach is it can be tailored and it's bespoke to you, which is brilliant. It's your culture, it's owned by your people, and it gives you feedback specifically on where you want to be.
We support the company all the way through the process, understanding your blueprint, understanding what it means, and understanding what the results are in each measurement. And we will support you every step of the way.
The survey gives you an overview of the whole business and where it is against your desired culture, but that can also be broken down regionally and in our case locally by contract, and the power of that information is so useful. The survey results are easy enough to be able to interpret yourself, so we're not reliant on anybody else supporting us every time we get them through. We're provided with great information for our key stakeholders in the business to use and actually start to implement. The workforce can really get involved on some of the local issues and making changes really quickly and easily themselves. No bureaucracy, no ties, they can get on and make the changes that they want to see.
The fastest that we've actually implemented a blueprint to the point where the people have their dictionary with the icons is 6 weeks. The time frame is very dependent on how much you want to change and how much you need to change and how fast you want to do that. So what I would say to anybody who's interested in Blueprint is we understand that you're unique and we will help you define that.